Hi everyone and welcome to this new speed build in The Sims 4. So a few days ago I shared the Create a Sim of Sydney, a sim inspired by the Random Legacy Challenge, and I felt really inspired by her story and the rules of her generation that I decided to go ahead and build the trailer that she's supposed to have rented when she arrived in Strangerville from the storyline that I came up with. Now, if you're interested in knowing a bit more about her story and the rules of her generation, I suggest you go and check out the Create a Sim video that will be linked in the description. Also, I still don't know if I'll be playing her story yet. I'm really tempted to, but I'd like to focus a bit more on the series that I currently have going on the channel, but that is definitely a possibility in the future. Now for the build, this is actually my second attempt to building this trailer. The first time I just made a simple rectangle and I tried to make it look like a trailer, you know, like a very old trailer from the 70s and all of that, and I actually finished this entire build, but I wasn't happy with it, you know, it was too normal and I don't know, it didn't look like how I was imagining this trailer to look like. So I just decided to go back into the game and not based off the trailer from a floor plan, because that was also what I did for the first attempt that I did. I based off the trailer from a floor plan because I wanted to be able to extend the trailer if, you know, I was actually playing with Sydney and decided for her to have babies and all of that. Since she's supposed to have 4 kids in this challenge, if I ever play with her that means. But, you know, I wanted to have this possibility of extending the trailer, but it just didn't look like how I wanted the trailer to look like. So as I said, I went back into the game and the trailer that I was actually very inspired from is actually the trailer that's just next to this slot, you know, this metallic rounded one, and I tried to make it look as metallic-y and, you know, as close as possible from this original trailer basically, and I think I did a pretty good job. Now this little, I want to say annex to this build, you know, this little thingy that comes out from the trailer. This is actually something that you can see sometimes in real trailers, you know, you can actually extend a part of the trailer, which usually is the kitchen. Here, I wanted for it to be the kitchen, but you will see later on that this will not be the kitchen in the end because it just didn't work out with the floor plan that I came up with this trailer. Now, also for the stairs, as I was building this trailer, which obviously is on a diagonal, and you know, usually diagonals in The Sims is very difficult to build with. Actually, it wasn't that difficult with this one, and I was actually very happy with how the windows and the doors and pretty much every items that I've used in this build reacted to the diagonal effect, except for the stairs, because as usual, you know, stairs in The Sims just cannot be put on a diagonal. And as I said, as I was working on the basics of this build, I completely forgot that stairs cannot be put on a diagonal, so I just decided to put this little deck area that allows you access to the main build, you know, to the trailer. But I think, you know, it looks okay, you know, maybe this is just something that had been added later on as the trailer was just put there. And as you can see, I also remembered to go into the debug menu because I really wanted to use a bunch of items from there, and I also wanted to use this boat holder thingy. I actually saw the Sim Supply use this as he was building a micro home, I think. By the way, I made this lot as a tiny residential lot because why not, you know? Since it's going to be off the grid as well, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, I decided to make it as a tiny house and, you know, just have some advantage from this. Anyway, but yeah, I saw the Sim Supply use this boat holder, and this actually looks really great for a trailer as well, because this way the trailer is just not floating in midair and it looks a bit more realistic this way. But here, as you might have seen, I actually put a shed, which is actually going to be an outhouse, because with the challenge and the rules that I rolled basically for Sydney, she's supposed to be living in a off-the-grid lot for, I think, her entire life, but if I ever play with her, I'm going to change that because the off-the-grid lot trait is very glitched out. And I was imagining that the trailer that she's actually staying at, maybe it's a very old one and the manager just took it out from their reserve or something just to put it there so that she can actually rent it, but it's not yet connected to the main system of plumbings and electricity of Strangerville, and that's why there is this outhouse just at the back of the trailer, and in there I will actually put the bathtub combo shower, you know, that came with Strangerville. I actually completely forgot the name of those. It's a shower tub combo, I think. Anyway, and I also put the toilets that I think you can craft with the handiness table. And yeah, I put those inside this little shed, and I will actually remove the door, so it's not going to be the most comfy place to go and take a shower in, and maybe sometimes just go ahead and use the bathrooms. It's not going to be the best place to do that, but you know, if I ever play with Sydney in this trailer, it's just going to be for a little while. I'm not going to keep the off-the-grid lot trait forever, because it's just very much glitched out, and it's just not that much fun to play with, to be honest. And also, as I was placing the lamps and everything, I realized that some of the lamps that are technically candles still do not work with the off-the-grid lot trait. Like, for example, the new candles that came with Tiny Living, they're not registered as working off the grid, even though technically they are candles, which is very, very frustrating because they're supposed to be working on this lot. Anyway, this is actually one of the reasons why I do not want to keep the off-the-grid lot trait forever if I ever play with Sydney in here. But anyway, right now I'm actually working on the garden, and as you can see, the garden is actually very green, and as I was furnishing and decorating it, I was thinking that maybe it looked a little bit too green for this trailer, which is supposed to be off the grid and very old and everything, but I was thinking that maybe Sydney has been staying in this trailer for a couple of weeks, and maybe she has been working on the garden, because Sydney is supposed to be working as a fast food employee, which is a part-time job. And, you know, she has maybe a little bit more time on her hands, and she wanted to take care of the lawn, of maybe the garden, or I don't know, she just wanted to decorate a bit more the place, and that's why the lawn is so green, why the grass is so green, why everything is so pretty in this garden, and why she cleaned up everything, why there are so many little flowers everywhere. So that's actually why, the explanation that I came up with on why this garden was looking so clean compared to this house, which looks, or house trailer that looks old, with this shed that looks awful. And I think I'm going to make it look even more awful pretty soon, because I'm going to add some rocks at the bottom, you know, with the paint tool terrain. And is that how it's called? Terrain, paint, tool, paint, I don't remember, but you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I will add some rocks at the bottom, and then I will use this shower tub combo that came with Strangerville, and I will also put this toilet that I think you can craft with the handiness table, which looks very awful and very unstable. And also I realized as I was taking the screenshot of this slot that I completely forgot to put a light inside this shed, so it's just going to be the most awful place to go to. Anyway, here is actually when I'm going to place the shower tub combo and the toilets as well. And as you can see, I also decided to put the sink outside. I was really imagining that the manager had put the sink outside of the outhouse, because there was not enough room inside and they wanted to be able to wash the dishes more quickly, especially when they were making barbecues and everything. And maybe this sink is also used to water the plants and everything, so that's also one of the reasons why I decided to put this sink outside. And I also put this bike that came with Discover University outside, and I also decided to go ahead and add some laundry because I thought that it could add a bit more to the challenge. And you know, as I said earlier, Sydney is going to be working as a fast food employee and she's going to have a bit more time on her hands, so maybe this can add something for us to do as well. And I decided also to place this cooler here because I wasn't sure that the fridge would be working off the grid. And I wanted to have this option of being able to have some quick meals and not have to do a barbecue every time Sydney would get hungry, or if you decide to download out this trailer for your game and you decide to play around with the off-the-grid dot trait, you can have some quick meals and everything to eat for your Sims. And so here I moved on inside, and where the bed is actually where I'm going to put the kitchen in the end, because I didn't like this empty space in the middle. You will see me try to change the layout a little bit and try to add a table in the middle as well, because I just didn't like the fact that there was this big empty space here. I thought it was just a waste of space, and I don't know, I was really not happy with it. So as I said, in the end I decided to just switch where the bed was with where the kitchen was. And I think it looks a little bit better, like the entire floor plan and the layout of everything just flows a little bit better. Also, the wallpaper that I decided to go with inside was, of course, inspired by a lot of trailers and pictures that I saw from the 60s and the 70s, and I just think that this wallpaper looks awful. It's just very disgusting to me, but it just really reminded me of the wallpaper that you usually can see or could see in trailers from the 60s and the 70s, and I just thought that it looked very realistic to me. So I'm actually really happy with this choice, even though for me it looks very awful. And as you can see, I changed the swatch for the bed and the chairs because I didn't find a good swatch for the sofa that went with the bed and the chairs. And at first I thought that the green could actually look great with this wallpaper, but I think the red kind of reminds and shows a bit more the flowers on the wallpaper and kind of goes a little bit better with it. Also, as you might have seen, I decided to go ahead and add a bathroom in this little room at the on the other side of the trailer, because this trailer, as I said, can be connected to the main plumbing system of Strangerville. It's just not connected yet, but I think that the Sims can actually use the toilets in there. I think these toilets can be used off the grid. And here, the candles that I just put on this hand table here cannot be used off the grid, which doesn't make any sense, but what can you do? Also, on this awkward little corner, as you can see, I decided to put a desk because Sydney, she comes from university and she actually came to Strangerville to become a scientist. It just didn't work out in the end, and that's how she ended up being a fast food employee and all of that. But she's still very studious, and she wants to learn. She wants to keep learning things, you know? So that's why she still has her desk. But now that I think of it, I could have maybe buy for her a computer and put it there, but I completely forgot. And as I was decorating this place, I was thinking that I was on a budget because this trailer is entirely starter, so you can buy it from scratch without cheat or anything. And I really wanted to use as much money as possible because from the storyline that I came up with for Sydney, she's supposed to have spent almost all of her money for this trailer. So I wanted for her to not have a whole lot of money left so that, you know, it would make sense with her storyline and that she wouldn't have enough money to buy a ticket to go back to Brightchester or, I don't know, maybe anywhere else than Strangerville, and that she was just stuck there. And I think in the end I end up with 350 simoleons. I think that's what I end up with. But anyway, here I'm just adding a few more decorations outside just to try and decorate a bit more the place, but also try to spend a bit more money because I didn't want for her to be left with 1,000 simoleons, because I think with 1,000 simoleons you can do some things, you know, even in real life. Might be difficult, but I think it's possible. But anyway, if you like this build, just let me know in the comments, and you will find in the description all of the information if you want to download it on the gallery. And there will be also a link to the online gallery as well if you want to download it on there. But if you want to download it in-game, you can find it by using my origin ID, which is Modem11. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you will enjoy the rest of this video. Let me know what you think in the comments of this trailer and if you would be interested in seeing Sydney and her story. And yeah, I will talk to you in my next video.